What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Kelpie RTA. Alright guys, so the random question of the day is, would you go streaking across the field at a sporting event, even if there was a 50-50 chance that you might be arrested for indecent exposure? I would definitely do it if I got to wear a spandex bodysuit like George Costanza did on Seinfeld. Otherwise, if I have to be completely nude, then it is right out. $1,000 is definitely not worth being labeled a sex offender. But I want to hear your answers right down there in the comment section below. Would you go streaking across the field at a sporting event for $1,000, even if it meant a 50-50 chance of being arrested for indecent exposure? Alright guys, so today I've got the Kelpie RTA to take a look at for you, and this is a project from Vaping with Vic, yeah, that crazy guy from Scotland, and EHPro, with a big huge shout out and thank you going to EHPro for allowing me to take a look at one of these devices for the purpose of making this video. So I've been anticipating this one for a very long time. Vic has been talking about this thing on the UK Vape Show for probably a good 6 months or so, and I finally am able to say that I have one in my hands. I picked this one up at Vapor Expo UK, and I have been using it ever since. So taking a quick look online, this device comes in two different color options. You've got the stainless steel version like I have here, and a black version as well, and it's going to run you about 30 pounds or about $37 US. And with that, if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I'll have a link on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But without any further ado, let's dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got our Kelpie in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll talk about what's inside. So I'm pretty sure this has got to be some sort of pre-production packaging. I don't think this is the final version because, well, I'll explain as I go. So first of all, we've got this display window, which looks at almost nothing. You can't really see the product inside there. The tank is down there. That's the extra glass and the extra box of parts right there. So really, it doesn't make any sense to have a window in the first place, but we've got the Kelpie Vaping with Vic project. This is a sticker with a big sticker nicotine warning right below that. On this side here, we've got their website and a UPC with a color indication, stainless steel right there. On the bottom, another Kelpie sticker. On this side, we've got the little serial number scratch and check sort of thing, and their social media right there. And on the top, an EHPro logo. On the back, we've got this very generic warning and another big nicotine warning sticker. So that kind of just leads me to believe that this is not the final retail packaging, or at least I hope not. But in any case, we've got a bubble glass right here. We've got a nice spare bubble glass for you. We've got the Kelpie itself with the standard glass installed on it right there. And we've got the spare bag of parts, which is going to be a struggle to get out. So let's just see if we can do that. Probably the usual suspects here, but let's just take a look. Oh, okay. So we've got... Here we've got some coils, decent looking coils, some O-rings, some spare grub screws, and a nice tool there, a Phillips-headed screwdriver. And in this bag here we have some cotton. So you have everything you need to get going right off the bat. Little tiny fold-out manual. No, well, technically it is a color graphic, but not much for color there, but not much words either. So I'm not going to take any points off for that. You got away with this one. We've got a QC check card right there. And in the bottom, we've got the warranty term. So if anything goes wrong, you could send it back to the manufacturer. And that, as you can see, is that. Alright guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, it's 25 millimeters in diameter. It has a 2 mil standard capacity or 3.5 mil extended glass capacity, top fill slide open design, single coil with a 30-hole perforated airflow system with excellent flavor. Alright guys, let's take a closer look at the parts of the Kelpie RTA, starting off with the 810 drip tip up top here. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this color. It looks really cool and classy. Otherwise, it's your standard 810 tip, nice wide bore through the top there as you can see, and it is of course matched the other way around as well. And just to show you guys that it is in fact 810 compatible, we've got a dead rabbit tip and it fits nicely into place. No wiggle or wobble or anything like that. On the inside lip here, we have an O-ring that holds your drip tips in place, and you can see the nice wide bore chimney section going down to the chamber. And with that, no fake out here. It's definitely necessary to have a nice wide bore 810 tip. To fill this thing up, all you have to do is press against the Kelpie logo right there on the top, and it reveals your filling port right there. If you have a glass stripper or any sort of plastic bottle, this is going to work no problem for you. And with that, I would put the tension along the same lines of something like the Mesh Pro. It's not a very smooth action. It's kind of crunchy feeling, and once you just get that little bit of tension, it just kind of slides right open. So I worry about this ever so slightly, and just maybe the fact that it might open up in your pocket or something. So I would just be a little bit cautious with this thing here, and maybe put it in a vape bag instead of your pocket or something like like that. The top cap and chamber section are all one piece, and as you can see here, it's got this cool engraving on it. It's like a rook and a knight, and as you can see on the inside here, it has that slight bit of domedness to it, which I feel like just enhances that flavor. It's a very small chamber, so I feel like the domed top cap of this chamber section and the size of the chamber itself really have to do with how good the flavor is on this thing. Here's the build deck with my build still in it. It's very, very simple, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly how I've been vaping on this thing. I didn't use a whole lot of cotton, and in fact, I trimmed it down from the original. I felt like it just needed a little bit less cotton to fill up that space there, and it's been working a little bit better from the original wicking. But with that, I still get a few dry hits here and there, so I'm gonna have to adjust my style and technique. So here's the build deck without any coils in it. As you can see, the airflow coming up from the bottom almost up to the side of your coil, and all those different holes there. Very cool and unique, and plenty of airflow to go around. You have 4 different terminals to choose from, whether you wrap overhand or underhand. It's really meant for a single coil, and all you got to do is slide your coils into these slots on the side there and then tighten down the screw. Screws on this thing are not the greatest. They're Phillips headed grub screws, so really not my favorite thing in the world. I personally prefer Allen headed screws. Think they missed the trick there in my opinion. You also have the little slots where your coil goes, and it's super easy to just slot your coil in, tighten it down, and that's all the building that you have to do with this thing. Just make sure your coil sits right in the middle of this airflow section. But on the sides, you have your threading, which is pretty decent. You know, not the worst, not the best, not super squeaky, not super tight or crunchy or anything like that. However, it does have this like open pocket here for where your wicking goes, and that's where I think this thing suffers, because sometimes your cotton can go over the sides of your threads and then pull it out of your coil, so that can definitely be really annoying. Right here you can see the airflow section, which is very generous in size. It's fully adjustable, of course, and all you have to do is just slide it to one side or the other. It does have a stopper fully open, which is nice, and with that there's tons of airflow on this thing. On the bottom section here, nothing too special, just your serial number, and designed by Vaping with VIC, and the 510 pin is gold plated, but it doesn't really stick out very far, so I'm gonna say this thing, I would not trust it on a hybrid mod, that's for sure. I would want it to stick out a lot further than that. So that's about all I've got for you guys in this little close-up section. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is the flavor is just amazing on this thing. I vape a lot of fruit flavors, and every single flavor that I put in here is just really nice and crisp and focused. You can taste all the notes in it, and I feel like it doesn't fall off at all. There's not a whole lot of room inside that chamber for that air to just kind of mix around and muddle up the flavor, and that's why I think the flavor is so good on this thing. My second pro for this one is how easy it is to build. All you have to do is undo 2 opposite screws, slide your coil into place, and lock it down. There's really not much touching up to do with this device here, because that build deck is very, very small, so as long as your coil's right in the center and your coil is heating from the inside out, you are good to go and you're ready to wick. And my third pro today is that it's small and compact. I've seen a ton of just massive tanks coming out lately, and it's really nice and refreshing to see something as small as this one. It's very fitting on some of the smaller devices, and even something like this RX2 21700, I feel like it fits rather nicely. And my fourth and final pro for this device is the slide open top fill. I really love this concept, and it's about damn time we got an RTA with a slide open top fill cap. And with that, I'm sure there's others out there, but I just haven't seen them. But in any case, I've seen so many sub-ohm tanks come out recently that have this feature, yet the RTA scene seems to be lacking this majorly. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons. My first con is how loose that slide open top fill cap is. Now, granted, I have never had an issue with it so far. I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I gotta say, I have yet to have it open up in my bag or anything like that, but I would put it on the same level as something like the Mesh Pro tank, where it is fairly easy to pop it open, especially when you're going to take the whole chamber section off. That thing will slide on you, and you might end up dumping your juice all over yourself, so that can be an issue if you tend to check your wicks, or you go to re-wick this thing with juice still in the tank. My second con for this one is the fact that I've been getting dry hits on it. Now, granted, I might have built it wrong or wicked it wrong. I have a single 0.25 ohm coil in there right now, and it seems to be doing its job, but the wicking just can't seem to keep up with it. Now, I started off with very long wicks, and I ended up trimming them up a little bit. I've thinned them out, and just nothing seems to work properly. I still haven't quite figured this one out. I really want to try building this one again with a smaller coil. Currently, I'm sitting at a 3mm inner diameter, and I want to try a 2.5mm. I feel like that might work out a little bit better in my favor. And my third and final con for this one is how cramped the build space is. Now, as I said, I've got a 3mm inner diameter coil in there, and it is really super tight. So if you like building bigger coils, this is definitely not going to be the device for you. I feel like this is going to shine with a smaller coil in it, but with that being said, it's just not as flexible as some of the other RTAs that are out there with bigger build decks. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for review? I'm going to say yes to this one, especially for those of you looking for a nice compact flavor banger RTA. This one is definitely going to fit the bill there. Very easy to build, although it is a very compact space, so just be aware of that going into this. So if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I'll have a link on my website. Link to that is right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave your comments in the box below, and make sure you check out the links I've got in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on!